Hey guys, Hare Krishna. It's me, the old school monk, and I bet you weren't expecting to see me pop up on your screen. I think it's been about 6 months since I've uploaded a video. Main reason being was actually I was finding it quite, it was taking a lot of like mental energy to kind of make videos, because it's unnecessary like kind of mental expenditure but I was really like confused about kind of why I was making videos, why I was playing RuneScape. You know, it's kind of like it's been a bit of a difficult year, like the past year. I'm just kind of trying to refine myself. If you're just tuning in randomly out of the blue, nice to meet you. I'm bhakta-rupa. Some people know me as Ben, some people know me as the old school monk. But basically I spent 5-6 years as a monk in a Hare Krishna temple in Cardiff, travelled around India, and kind of lived the monk lifestyle. And around 18 months ago now, maybe something along that time, I moved out of the temple and began to forge my way in the world as a spiritually minded normie, normal person. I don't know, in the Buddhist tradition they call them layman, but I guess it's like a householder, or just, you know, a normal person of the world. So like I had the training as a monk, experienced that lifestyle, and then back into the world to reforge my identity. So, you know, I about 9 months ago I uploaded a video on YouTube, and it kind of went, in my by my standards, viral. Got 50k views, something along those lines. And you know, the YouTube channel kind of gained a lot of popularity, relative popularity, and it was very I found it quite difficult to deal with that attention whilst simultaneously trying to figure out who I am in this world now, like where's my position in this world, and also wrestling with the idea of actually like playing a video game, because I don't know if you got the memo, but monks don't usually play video games in the temple. So for me it felt like, is this wrong? Should I not be playing this game? Am I in illusion? Am I in Maya? Or is this something that's cool to be doing? So it kind of got to a point where it was causing me much more distress than I think it was, well, much more distress than was necessary, and much more stress than was worth, than it was worth, if you know what I mean. So I kind of took a month or two off RuneScape, kind of went radio silent on the YouTube channel, and yeah, it kind of disappeared into the ether, so to speak, and started working on my kind of in real life career, so to speak, as well. Like, so kind of figuring out, okay, how am I going to earn my pennies to get the, yeah, there we go. How am I going to earn my pennies to kind of feed myself, potential family in the future? How am I going to make this happen? But yeah, basically like over the past kind of, I guess 6 months since I made a video, I've just been kind of focusing on myself, not in a selfish way, but in a way that kind of can allow me to be the better version of myself moving into the future, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a much better place now, personally speaking, than I was when I was making the videos, because at that time I didn't really have a job, nor did I have any clue of what I wanted to do in the world. The only thing that was kind of successful, so to speak, in my world was this little YouTube channel. So like I don't know if I'm making sense, but it was kind of if you go back and listen to some of those videos, I was definitely like constantly like looking for, am I doing the right thing? Like I was getting quite mental about kind of the videos and all of that stuff. So let me just gear up. I'll do a little cut here because it's confusing me to do two things at once. Okay, alright, we're geared up. I don't have full prayer, but we're just going to allow it for the sake of the video. So yeah, I digress, and yeah, I was getting a little bit mental about what's my position in this kind of the material side of my life, because all the while I was still practicing spiritually, still doing my chanting of the Maha Mantra, still attending like the programs in the temple. I didn't let slip the things that mean the most to me, but sometimes we've got to like take care of our material situation, which is quite it's quite important, because you can't really think about being a spiritual person if you don't have shelter, if you don't have kind of food, if you don't have clothes, and so on and so forth. So, you know, sometimes you got to put the cart before the horse, so to speak, and deal with your material situation, and then focus on spiritual, if that makes sense to your ears. So yeah, I've been kind of just also working on my relationship with RuneScape, because it is one of those things. It's like I've come to the conclusion that actually, how did this prayer potion get here? I've come to the conclusion. Oh, don't go in. Yeah, I've come to the conclusion that I've got a long-term relationship with RuneScape, and I probably always will do. So it's like getting the balance right, basically, because it's a recreational activity at the end of the day, but we don't want to kind of sorry, I'm focusing on doing this now. We don't want to let that recreational activity get away with us. But speaking of recreational activities, I've kind of got into doing this God Wars or this bossing stuff. I never had done it before. At the moment, I know if you know what you're doing, I'm doing this wrong. I'm going the wrong way around the room. I'm panicking. It's because I'm trying to do two things at once. But I've done like 160 kills. My auto retaliate's on. I've done like 160 kills or something of Zilliana, which is like, for me that was like, okay, I'm not wearing this. I'm gonna die right now for the video. Sheesh. So yeah, I've kind of been examining my relationship with the game and just trying to play it in a chilled way. What I found is like when I'm busy in life, then you can forget about playing the game because I'm too busy. But then when I have some spare time, I kind of love it a lot. So I've been doing a little bit of PVM, player versus monster, and just enjoying learning about different parts of the game which I never paid attention to before, like movement and kind of dealing with gear and all different aspects of the game, which if you're just a skiller, you won't really be privy to. But I'm sure if you're watching the content on screen, you can see that I'm pretty ropey, but it's alright, we forgive ourselves. But yeah, I just wanted to make like a little video. I just wanted to make a little comeback anyway, you know, like I want to come back to the YouTube space and kind of share some ideas and thoughts that I'm having, because one thing I'm realizing from just like living out a normal life with a background as a monk, with like a spiritual background of having had nothing and just being wholly and solely focused on spiritual practice, is that actually our everyday life, no matter what it is, whether you're a doctor or a builder or a garbage man, whatever position you find yourself in, there's always like a perfect opportunity to make a lesson, to learn something about yourself, and to come closer to your true self, to your deeper nature, which is actually like a spiritual being. Because if you've watched any of the previous videos, there's something that I've spoken about on multiple occasions, and that would be the kind of, it's called Atma Tattva, or the science of the soul. So I keep speaking about the idea that we are not our body, we're a spiritual being having a bodily experience. And it's kind of like RuneScape, isn't it? It's like we're not our character, but we project our identity into this character whilst we're playing the game. So like if you see a guy that's got like the full third age druidic armor, gear, whatever, and he's just like dripped out with crazy bank, he's getting a little boost out of being that guy, because he's kind of identifying with that, and other people playing the game are also identifying with the same thing, so to speak, isn't it? So like we're a bit like that, we're having a experience, like we're a spirit soul, a spiritual being having a human experience. So then everything within our within our purview, within our world, is kind of like an extension of our human experience. But the whole purpose of having a spiritual lifestyle is to learn how to see the spiritual existence which is kind of underlying all of our material activities. So that's what I'm saying. It's like I've been doing some construction work. I've been training my construction level IRL. This is like building and knocking down walls and plastering and drywall and bricks and heavy buildy type stuff. Personally love it. It's right up my street. So I've been doing that, but I know, having spent time in the temple, that I'm not a builder. I'm a spiritual being that's having kind of like a builder's experience. So it's been really nice. So like, I'll give you an example. I was on the job site, and the guy that's been teaching me, he said, whatever you do, don't sweep the dust underneath the floorboards, because the kind of plumbers and the people that have to go under the floorboards will have to crawl around in dust and nails. He said it's much better if you kind of sweep it up into like a dustpan and take it out and put it in the skip. So I was like, yeah. Because if you're dusting the floor on a building site, sometimes it's easier to kind of just sweep it under the floorboards. So I was being a bit lazy and I just kind of ignored what he said and just swept the dust under the floorboards. Anyway, a few days later, we're like tearing down the ceiling. Like, you know, you know what a ceiling is. We're tearing it down, and I pulled down a big piece of the ceiling, and showered on my head was like extreme amounts of like dust and rubble, which a previous builder had obviously kind of just swept there or left there. He'd been lazy, and it was almost like it was like quite a quick turnaround lesson on karma, and how like you know, if you sweep dust under the floorboard, then you're gonna have a load of dust fall on your head. So this is like kind of the beauty of having that spiritual practice. You know, every morning I tried to read Bhagavad Gita, and in the Bhagavad Gita I hear little bits of wisdom, and then throughout the day those bits of wisdom tend to apply, you know. So it's been quite cool, like having that real life playground in which to practice spiritually. Hopefully that makes some kind of sense. But yeah, it's I think it's an art form that we can all learn, is that any situation that happens to us is genuinely an opportunity for us to kind of come in contact with our higher self, is to take the high road, or is to pass the test. Because life will throw a bunch of tests at us. Someone will say something that we don't like the sound of. Someone will, whatever, defame you, say some, you know, if you look within the kind of RuneScape YouTube community, there's a lot of it thrives on these little kind of beefs between people, isn't it? Like so and so doesn't like so and so, so then they have like a little call and they'll kind of chat about how much the other person's in the wrong, and it turns into this kind of like melee, like a verbal melee, and we all kind of enjoy listening to it because it's spicy. It's the same reason people like watching UFC and that. is because you're seeing people fight, isn't it? It's like combative, which is exciting. That's why we like PVM, because we like fighting. We're kind of naturally drawn to fights. So the spiritualist, I guess, his method, or his kind of response to someone defaming them or blaspheming you or saying something rude about you, instead of getting combative and going in the Discord call and fighting, we kind of try to rise above it and kind of accept, alright, there must be some element of truth in what they're saying, and I guess my duty is to tolerate. And by tolerating, you break the chain of karma. Because by engaging in the fight, by engaging in the conflict, you just continue in the back and forth, isn't it? It's like, you said this about me, now I said this about you, now you've got a reason to say something about me in the future, and it continues this chain of action and reaction. Whereas if you rise above it, you're actually breaking the chain of karma and allowing us to be free. But it's easier said than done, don't get me wrong. There's nothing worse than someone saying something about you that isn't true. Not so easy to rise above. But yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like I've been rambling for a little while. 18 minutes. Maybe we'll just go for one more kill of our friend Zilly, and we'll get a crazy drop and the video will be just perfect. But nothing. It's been a good year. That's all I can say. There's been a lot of internal, external conflicts, worries, fears, anxieties. But one thing I've kind of come out of the whole experience with is actually a firm conviction that there's God is there in the whole mix, and every situation that's happened to me in retrospect has been kind of hand delivered by God in order to allow me to learn a lesson about myself, an internal lesson, and give me the opportunity to overcome it, even if most of the time I don't overcome it, even if most of the time I do cave way to the kind of more base level response, let's say it like that. But we're trying. And that's the thing, is all you can do in life is try. The moment you give up is I guess the moment you give up, I guess we can give up too sometimes. I don't know. You've got to pick your battles, isn't it? So sometimes you might lose the battle but win the war. Sometimes you might give up, you might embrace weakness, but it's all about having that vision that actually ultimately, in the greater scheme of things, my life is about, in the greater scheme of things, my life isn't about tit for tat and he said this, she said this, da 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 da, back and forth. Actually, my life is about becoming realized in my spiritual identity and my relationship with God. And I'm not sure if that's a bit full on, because one thing I noticed is not everyone is kind of into their spirituality, their kind of religious beliefs, their ideas of faith in God. And I think that's okay, because we're all where we are. In fact, we're all exactly where we need to be, And I mean, just listening to this video, you've managed to make it 20 odd minutes into the video. That's a sign that you're at least supposed to be here, I know how it is though. We're playing RuneScape, we've put a little video on in the background, and it's kind of interesting to hear a person speak. I do that all the time. But I guess that in itself can be a bit of a cycle. We're almost we're trying to soothe something. We're trying to ease a type of pain. Do you get the same thing as I get? It's okay, if I just kind of focus on YouTube videos and RuneScape for another hour, then I'll feel relief from some sort of internal angst, isn't it? Like if I have, it can be RuneScape and YouTube, it can be, okay, if I just drink a couple of Monster Energy drinks, or if I just smoke a joint, or if I just drink some beer, or whatever your little kind of release valve is, then I'll feel kind of temporary separation from this internal angst. But actually the warrior's path, or the path of growth, is to face that thing that's niggling at us, to kind of look it in the eyes and kind of not run away from it. Like the truth, the secret, the kind of, I don't know what I'm saying, but the kind of, the victory lies behind that, but it ain't always easy, and sometimes it's really difficult to know what to do when we're actually looking at that, whatever it is. Am I making sense? Oh, sugar. Am I gonna die? Almost. It's because I've got... Sorry, I'm not the best PVMer, but we're learning. So yeah, it's like, you'll know when you're using RuneScape as an escape, or when you're using a substance as an escape, or when you're using whatever it is you're using as an escape, because more often than not there'll be like a little sign, whether it's your kind of internal compass or some voice inside you screaming out like, come on, don't do this, like face the email, or do the thing that you've been avoiding, like come on, you can do it. And it's so seducing and almost like tempting to just kind of go, no, I'm gonna do the thing that I shouldn't be doing, you know? There's a sort of pull to it, and there's a sort of flavour to it, which is quite like, it gets you, right? But like, I guess at a certain point we're gonna have to find the strength, whether it's sooner or later, we're gonna have to find the strength to actually stand up and face what we're doing. And I guess this kind of like links back into what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, as to why I took out my little hiatus from the old YouTube. And I think the kind of main reason, or one of the main reasons, was this was that I found that YouTube, RuneScape, the whole thing that I was doing there was becoming my kind of doing the wrong thing. You know, it wasn't beneficial to me. It was like a fair distraction from stepping up and facing what I needed to face, which in reality, it like actually at the time was, okay, I need to start thinking about getting a job and like earning money so that I can eventually have a family and kind of do all of these material obligations for the sake of pleasing God, actually, ultimately. So it's like, okay, this is called Dharma. Dharma is like the right thing to do in flow with the universe. So like dharmically, a lot of us probably will be well suited to having a family, because like having a wife is inspiring for a man, or having a female or girlfriend at least is inspiring for a man, because she inspires you to kind of go out and earn some money and provide. And this, I'm talking traditionally, not the modern way of doing things. So dharmically it actually works to kind of aspire for a family and kids and wife and all of that, because it allows you to elevate your position to something more positive. Because if you're not following Dharma, in other words, if you're not getting your crap together and getting a job and doing the things which you can make all the excuses in the world, what's the point of doing it, but ultimately these things you're kind of expected to do, or they're beneficial to do. If you don't follow your Dharma and you just kind of follow your mind and do whatever you like, then you're going to end up quite sad. So it's one of those kind of, the reason you end up sad is because you kind of spent a lot of time playing RuneScape, and you've got a certain amount of like kind of fame or whatever, I don't know, kill count. You got something out of playing your RuneScape, but it doesn't count for anything, and gradually you kind of lose pace with the world. So by following Dharma, there's a niggle inside me that's saying I need to go out there and get a job and kind of work on my material situation. If you address that voice and you face it and you search for the answer to the problem, if you try and solve the issue that's facing you, then actually you become rewarded by the universe. Like, you find what you're looking for, and that feeling of anxiety, stress, depression, whatever it is inside you, it begins to abate, it begins to die down, and then you can do these things potentially that you were using to escape. You can do them in a more healthy and recreational way, but you have to be on your toes, because it's a fun thing to do, much more fun than facing the harsh realities of life. Harsh realities of life, this world can be quite tough. So because it's like quite a nice escape, you got to be careful, because it can easily creep back in, that desire to just kind of spend hours and hours killing Commander Zilliana and getting drops which spike your dopamine. I'm just talking about a friend. It's not me. I don't escape using this game anymore. But we all do, It's soothing. We're soothing. Because ultimately you've got to take shelter of something. Like, we're not the most powerful beings in the universe. Like, we're not God, or we're not even a demigod. We're just like little beings that, live in a little shoebox house in like a place that has Wi-Fi or whatever. Like, we're not super special. So we have to take shelter. You take shelter of your house, you take shelter of the government in some way, like they provide you. But you take shelter of the grocery store, the supermarket. Like, without the supermarket, how are you going to eat? Oh, I'm going to tab. I'm going to have to go to Trollheim and home telly. It's embarrassing. Yeah, without the supermarket, how are you going to eat? Oh, it's not even an easy home telly. But that's what I'm saying, is we've got to take shelter somewhere. So you can take shelter of RuneScape. That's emotional shelter, like you take shelter from your feelings. Or you've got to take shelter of, the government, your boss. All the time we have to take shelter. So you just got to, I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, Krishna. You know what I mean? But anyway, long story short, 30 minutes in, I just want to say thank you. I get my hair cut out. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being patient and allowing me to kind of go and have my hiatus and come back. And let's get back into this. Let's make some more videos. Let's have some more fun. Let's kill some more monsters. Maybe we can start doing it together. I've got my Discord, isn't it? The Old School Monk Discord. It's gone a bit dead because I've been off the radar. My new name in-game is Tattva, Tattva. Tattva means truth in Sanskrit. So please add me, say hi. My private will be off most of the time, but maybe it won't. But yeah, just thank you for being you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your kind attention. And God bless you. Hare Krishna.